Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're going to be talking about spellcasting for the Masters of Magic, the Wizards. At level 7, Wizards get their 4th level spell slots, and they get to choose 4th level spells. 4th level spells come in the middle of Tier 2, so they're a nice little power buff while you're working your way up to the middle of the game. And there's a huge list to choose from. So, what spells should you take? I've prepared a top 5 list that all wizards should consider when looking at what spells they're going to take at level 7. Starting off with my 5th on the list is Sickening Radiance, an AoE that does an insane amount of damage. First of all, it's a con save, which isn't the greatest save to target, and it covers a 30-foot area with dim light. Dim green light. Creatures who fail their con save in there take 4d10 radiant damage, which doesn't sound like much, does it? They also glow with a green light, so that means they cannot benefit from being invisible. But the real kicker here is that if they fail the save, they take a level of exhaustion. Exhaustion is one of the most debilitating abilities, status conditions in the whole game. Disadvantage on your ability checks, and your speed gets reduced at the low levels of exhaustion. Your hit point maximum, your attacks and saving throws, and your speed eventually going all the way down to 0. Everything's at disadvantage. As you get more and more exhausted, you become more and more useless. And eventually, when you get 6 levels of exhaustion, you die. That's actually really bad. And Sickening Radiance, if you manage to cast it in a spot where the enemies cannot escape, yeah, they might succeed on some of their con saves, but it lasts for 10 minutes with your concentration. 10 minutes is 100 saving throws. You think that in 100 saving throws, even a really tough creature isn't going to fail at least 6 of them? 6 failures and you're dead. Doesn't matter what your hit points are. Doesn't matter if you're immune to radiant damage. It just kills you. So, when used with proper battlefield control, Sickening Radiance is unbelievably powerful, and I really, really think it's one of the best AoEs in the whole game. Now, for number 4 on the list, I say choose Arcane Eye. Arcane Eye is one of the best scouting tools that any wizard can have. You create an eyeball that floats in the air. It can see and hear 30 feet around it. It has dark vision too. You can look through the Arcane Eye. You can see everything that it sees. And you can use your action to send it, and it moves at 30 feet a turn. The thing about Arcane Eye is that it lasts an hour, and has no distance limit. You can sit far, far away from your target, cast Arcane Eye, and you just send the eye away. And you can go anywhere. You can look at anything. It's intangible, so it can't be attacked. Obviously, other creatures could see it, potentially. But you can see anything with Arcane Eye. It is blocked by solid barriers, although it can fit through a 1-inch gap, so maybe not through a keyhole, but through like a cracked window, or a gate, or over a wall, because it can fly too. All in all, Arcane Eye is one of the best scouting tools in all of D&D, and it genuinely creates this idea that the wizard can know anything he wants to know without putting himself in harm's way. And that's why it goes on this list. It is the best information gathering tool for this level. Now for number 3, we have Wall of Fire. Talking about battlefield control, Wall of Fire is one of the best ones. You create a wall of fire, you concentrate on it, it lasts a minute. It can either be a wall 20 feet high, 1 foot thick, and 60 feet long. Or you can create a 20-foot diameter circle with it. The thing about Wall of Fire is that you actually get to choose which direction it harms people in. If it's the wall or the circle, you cast the spell and designate a side of the wall. So if it's the wall, the straight line, it's either one side or the other. And if it's the circle, it's the inside or the outside of the circle. Creatures that start their turn within 10 feet of the circle or move into within 10 feet of it automatically take 5d8 fire damage. No save. When you cast the spell, any creature that's on the line of the fire can make a dex save to avoid the 5d8, but after that it's automatic damage. This is great for trapping enemies and cooking them inside the wall. So just draw the circle, make the inside the damaging side. Or you can use it for protection. Draw it around the party, make the outside the damaging side. You're not getting cooked, but anyone who comes near you is. It is a great battlefield control. It divides enemies, it traps them, it protects you from them, it does a lot. Obviously creatures can just run through fire, but they're going to take a lot of damage to do it. So Wall of Fire, top tier. Now, the number 2 spell on this list is the only battlefield control spell at this level that I'd say beats it, and that's Banishment. Banishment, you target a creature and they make a charisma save. If they fail, they're gone. They get banished to a demiplane. It's a harmless demiplane. They're incapacitated for a full minute as long as you maintain concentration, and they don't come back until the end of the spell. They just pop back to where they were before. This is a great way to remove a strong enemy from the battlefield, and charisma saves are great to target. It also works in a special way against creatures that aren't from the plane you're on. So if you're on the material plane, any creature that comes from the astral plane, the ethereal plane, the planes of elementals, demons, devils, angels, aberrations, elementals, all of them, you cast Banishment on them and they're sent to their home plane. And if you keep the concentration for the full minute, they stay there permanently, meaning that all of a sudden they don't have any way to get back unless they get back through some other means. It is a one-hit kill, effectively. If you whittle down a Demon Lord's legendary resistances and you stick a Banishment, they're gone. They're just gone. It's an insta-win. And that is stupidly powerful. Banishment is really, really strong, and honestly, I considered it for the number 1 spot on the list. But the number 1 spot has to take it. The number 1 spot is the number 1 4th level spell in all of D&D, and honestly, is one of the best spells in all of D&D, no matter what the level you're talking about. That spell is Polymorph. Polymorph does everything. You cast it on a creature and you turn them into a beast with a CR rating equal to or less than their level. When you get this spell, you are level 7, so you can transform into basically all beasts in the game. Woolly mammoths, giant apes, killer whales, giant eagles. 1 level higher and you can transform into a Tyrannosaurus Rex. While you're in this form, you have all the abilities the creature has. If it can fly, you can fly. If it can have tremor sense or burrow, you can do that. If it can breathe underwater, you can do that. If it has a multi-attack, you can use that multi-attack. All of its strength and speed is yours. And most key, its hit points are yours. You gain a 2nd health bar, because when you take damage in the beast form, it whittles away at the beast's health, and when the beast's health drops to 0, you just go back to your normal form, with the same hit points you had when you were transformed. So, if the fighter is a few hit points from dying, the wizard can cast Polymorph, and now he's a giant ape with 100 more hit points and a really powerful attack. And if the ape goes down, the fighter's not dead. And it works for all of these purposes for an hour. A solid hour of transformation. It is a great spell. Very potent, and does basically anything. Utility, defense, healing, which is really survivability, combat effectiveness and strength, all of it. If transforming a creature into a large animal will fix the problem, Polymorph can fix the problem, and most problems can be solved if you have a pet T-Rex in your back pocket. Polymorph is top tier, and every wizard should take it. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below, and keep your eyes peeled for more spellcasting reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.